All right, welcome in everybody. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. We are kicking off August with the biggest of personalities. John Reserreccion, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing phenomenal, and I would like to say that you're doing phenomenal as well, because you have outgrown everybody by the consistency of your content every Monday.
Every Monday, 430 straight of them today. This is we're killing it, bud. We're killing it. So, John, we're getting ready here. Obviously, you know, we've got the big show coming up here in September where John will be making yet his third return to the show. John normally hits lead off at the show, but we've got him in a special spot this year to really bring the energy, bring the hype. If you don't know it, but check out the agenda, beingsocialauto.com. You can also find tickets while still available. John, we like to ask the question to kick the show off. What's on John's mind?
What's on my mind other than the family? Why are we still talking about the same thing? I love it. It's so crazy. We're talking about the same stuff. It's like, when are the people going to start getting it together and just implementing really realistically the free stuff that you're giving, the free stuff that the world of LinkedIn is giving people? It's fascinating to see that we're still talking about the same things, and knowing that it is so important for businesses to highlight themselves. We're talking about branding, we're talking about social, your events about all this stuff, right? But I know we're going to bring other layers to it, but that's been on my mind. It's fascinating to see that that's what still the conversation is, and no one's really bringing it up. I think the last post that you actually talked about that really caught my eye was Fix Ops. That one was phenomenal as well. We're still talking about that, you know? So those are things that have been on my mind, but I think it's always been the same things that I've always harped on, and the things that you've harped on. It's just like, one, is process. Why is the process still messed up? 2, why are we not branding and doing social media? Why are we not getting people involved? 3, why is no one paying attention to Fix Ops like they should be? When that's the part of the business that keeps the lights on. I mean, it's fascinating to me that we're still doing it. Yeah,
it's funny you say it, because it's something I think a lot about as well, because you know, obviously I'm in a space where my job is to help dealers, you know, get things done and understand data and process and training and CRM and all the things that we do. And I jokingly say, thankfully, they haven't figured it out. Otherwise, they'd be out of business, right? But the non-joke side of that is it is very frustrating. And, you know, even clients that we've worked with for a decade still have similar flaws that have been their flaws for the same time I've worked with them, right? So, and it's a matter of, to me, John, it's a matter of follow through. I think a lot of people can get excited coming out of a show, coming out of a 20 group, coming out of a whatever. But I think it's the follow through that can make the difference. When you were in store, when you were on lot doing what you did, how much did you push on just getting it done? Whether you were in the mood or not, how much was it for you to just say, this is the process, this is what I got to do to get the content?
I think 100% of the time. I mean, it really came down to, a lot of it comes though to the interest and the passion of it though. A lot of the things that I go after, I actually go 1,000% at it. It's a little bit of an addictive personality when it comes down to it. And for some people, I mean, if they're in this business, you can't be an automotive and think it's only just about the money, because it's not just the money is there. Right. I mean, it has done an amazing thing for my family alone. I'm sure your family as well. Right. And so it's been very fruitful in that area, but it comes down to finding what that passion is. Right. For me, it's more of being able to tell stories and help others, implement things that have worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. I get that. I understand. But there is ways that people can still be creative, put themselves out there. And you know this already. This is probably why I'm here the third time at your show. But when I turn it on, I turn it on. And and then when I need to take a break, that's when I have to go to sleep. Right. That's it. Right. There's no on and off. I mean, caffeine helps a lot in this realm, but at the end of the day, regardless of what's happening in your situation, you got to get it done. But that comes with the passion, right? Like, what's the purpose and why you're doing these things? So
purpose and passion is a big part of it. And, you and I have talked about this. You were a high
uh-huh.
energy guy.
Yeah.
I'm a high energy guy. I get out of bed this way. I don't use caffeine. I don't have caffeine. As you know me a little bit better than most people. I use a good amount of downers to try and, bring myself, to a level of saneness, if you will. And so, there's a part of it, but the passion is a big part. And there's just been this saying forever, right? That if you love what you do, you don't ever work a day in your life. And now that I've been on my own for 13 years, I got to tell you, I think that line is kind of bullshit. And here's why. Because I have the passion for what I do. I've always felt that. So in retail, I wasn't the boss, right? But I loved what I did because that was my passion. So to me, it's more, if you find your passion, you don't ever work a day in your life. And because being an entrepreneur, being on my own, is a lot of fucking work, John. It's a lot of work.
I know it's a lot of work. Trust me. I know.
And so, and you did it, right? You were doing your own brand for a while, and then you ended up with the great folks at MXS and Mark Div and everybody. And that's that's for you. That was the right landing strip, right? For what you had created, Correct. For what you had built. That's what made sense to you to go that route. But it's not easy work trying to be on our own or trying to work for somebody else. You have to find the passion. And I know you have the passion because I watch you travel all over the country, helping dealers create content, doing all of your video work. And you wouldn't be on the road away from that wonderful family you mentioned if you didn't have the passion, if it didn't make sense to you. Because as you point out, the money's there, it's been there. I get it. I'm cool with it. But if I still wanted to be like mega rich, I would have never left retail. That's the reality of the whole thing. I was on track to own stores and be that guy, but probably give up a marriage, probably give up at least most of my health, you know what I mean? And a good portion of the sanity. So, so I get that, but it's not easy. Passion is what matters. John, when you go out to stores and you create content, you go there and you show them the keys to the castle and you're like, look, it can be this easy. And they still call you to come back and do it again. I know it's good for business, but is there a part of you that's like, what don't you get? Can't you do it yourself? Like, is there ever a time for you where you're creating content for others thinking, I've shown you how to do it. Let's go do it.
That's actually a really solid question because I think about this all the time when dealers have us go out there either on a monthly basis or quarterly. And I think it comes down to where I was saying that it's not for everyone. Some people are just not creative. That's the reality. They're just not creative. And there's nothing wrong with that. So sometimes they still need someone that's creative enough, and they can't find anyone that can help them be creative in that aspect, right? So sometimes
or they don't trust their chat bot enough to be creative.
That's correct. Yeah, they don't trust, they don't. Yeah, there's a lot of things. So I think because of my background, and they know that I've been in the automotive space, that I am creative, and most importantly, that they love Filipinos.
Who doesn't?
It just comes down to, that's the reason why they keep having us come out there, right, and doing those things. And sometimes, a lot of these dealers, and I'm not going to knock them for it, but some of these dealers, they love to see a partner that comes in and that really cares, really gives a shit about their business. Like, I really care about the success of their business because I sat in that seat. I know when it is a Saturday and it is completely dead and your number one guy is out in the corner smoking a cigarette and just has no engagement with anyone. I get all of that. I know what's happening, right? And so that moment in time when I do go out there, or our team goes out there and we get them so hyped up and we get them involved, and it brings a new sense of urgency for them to, like, man, this guy is doing something amazing. We can do this. And sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 different bats to go at it, right? Because they're not gonna get to the level of what I'm doing right then and there. It's just never gonna happen. Sean, you know this. You've been with some companies for over a decade. And you're asking the same questions, but sometimes they just don't get it. but they need people like you. They need people like me. They need other people that are out there that are doing some amazing things as far as content, websites, as all the things that is out there, and they just need those type of people. So to answer your question, yeah, it's interesting that it's still happening, but yes, what you mentioned in the very beginning, it's good business for us. I mean, we keep doing what we're doing, and it allows us to keep the fire in ourselves to keep doing what our whole mission was, is to change the car business and leave it better than what we left it, right? So that's always been your motto. That's been my type of motto, and we've always have gone there. And I think that's where the drive for us, and the people that we mess with, that's why we're difference makers, is that we care and we want to make it better before we leave, because there's a time when we have to end it, right? So
that's it. There's a time where this industry will move on without me in it, and I've tried to prepare myself and my organization for those days and what that looks like and how we operate. So dude, I'm totally with you there. Now, to bring this full circle to the show, obviously, September 22nd, Madison, Wisconsin. John will be there. We are doing the road to the sale at Being Social. We're going to cover from your SEO to your service department, everything in between. But most of you come and you expect to see John Reserreccion rapping at you about social media and content creation. But we got a little spoiler alert for you. That ain't what John's coming to talk about this year. John, you want to give folks a quick preview of what they can expect this year?
We're going to be talking about your number one salesperson. That's who we're going to talk about. And if you don't know who your number one salesperson is,
John, I'm sorry. I don't work at dealerships anymore. I don't understand. Who are we talking about? Yeah,
your number one salesperson should be your website. And you know why we're talking about websites and why they're the number one salesperson.
Because we still are, John. Because we still are. That's why.
That's right. Here's the reason. Here's why we should really pay attention to this thing, and we're gonna deep dive into it. We're gonna look into it. I know I'm gonna make it just as hype as if I'm talking about social media. But let's be factual here, because we've all been in the dealership world. Your number one guy says, "Hey, Sean, it's my dog's birthday. I gotta take the day off. Sean, my 5 kids that I have, they have birthdays. I gotta roll. Look, I'm getting a little bit of cough. I gotta call in sick." Right? This happens to everybody. The reality is your website never calls in sick, never has a birthday, never has to go to a wedding, never has to travel, doesn't have kids. So your website is your number one salesperson, where it is on all the time. We're talking about being on all the time. Your website should be on all the time. So that's what we're going to get. We're going to get hype with it. I know it sounds like, oh my God, John's coming in talking about techie tech. Don't trip. I'm going to make it dope. I'm always going to make it dope. So it's going to be phenomenal. And you know what's really quick, Sean? I know you hit me good yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Oh, 2 days ago. I don't even know what day it is. You set me up right after lunch, baby. I get it. I get it. So while the food is brewing inside, don't worry. I'm going to throw the endorphins and make sure that we are all awake for the second half of this session. I get you, Sean. You ain't slick. You ain't slick, but you're slick. I know what you did. I love it, though. I think we've talked about it the last 2 times, right? I think that's what happened. And
and to be fair, it's less about me being slick and more about me listening to you, because last year when we come undone after lunch, you walk up to me, we're outside enjoying a smoke, and you say to me, "Man, maybe I should go." Boom! Again, mind explosion. I agree, and now you're in after lunch. Yeah. John, it's going to be a great time, man. We're going to have some wonderful people in the room. We're going to have great partners of yours and mine and dealers. It's just awesome, man. I'm so glad you're coming back. And I'm really, really excited to have you rap about websites, because, we're going to have people in the room who are on MXS websites. We're going to have people in the room who have, gone through the process. And I've got clients that are extremely happy about the switch, John. And right now, I would say, besides cutting budget, because, obviously we're in a little bit of a compressed market. I won't use the R word. I know it makes everyone uncomfortable. So we'll just say compressed market. It's either budgets And John, the other conversation I'm hearing every day, I want to get rid of my website.
Yeah, it's very true. It is
For
very
what?
true.
You know, and that's always my question. For what and for why? You know, like if you can give me the what and the why of things, I'm going to help you out with that. But change to change, folks, never a good idea in automotive. Have a reason, have a benchmark, have data to track, and tell me why you want to switch. And then once you do switch, tell me how the things you wish changed along with it. That's the biggest part for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
John, anything you want to tell folks about anything you want to close the show with? Tell folks why they need to be in Madison on September 22nd.
Oh my gosh! Look, I've done this now for the third year. Every time Sean asks me, I never hesitate. My team doesn't ever hesitate. As far as Sean says, I got a show, we're there. And the reason being is if you're tired of the big conglomerate, big shows where it's like being in a club and you can't hear somebody when you go to these big shows, right? You're trying to have a meaningful conversation and you just don't get anything out of that situation. This show is geared to people that are really looking to make a difference within their dealer group, their dealership, their business. And the reason, because you actually have direct contact with the speakers, myself, or the other speakers that are out there, and you can have meaningful conversations for meaningful changes. I think that is the biggest thing, and that is the biggest takeaway. That is the biggest ROI when you go to these shows, because you said it and you alluded to it. You go to these shows, you get super hyped about them. You go back, you try, you get one rejection from somebody that wasn't at the show, and then you just stop. But these conversations bring deeper conversations down the road. And I think that's what this show really does. It makes sure that the conversation doesn't go unnoticed and that it continues to grow after the show. And that's what's always been phenomenal. These last 2 years, I have met a lot of great friends through your show that still to this day, we call not even to talk about the business, but just like how you and I talk is how's the family? How's everyone doing? And that stuff means more to me than talking about business, because that's all we do all day long. And that's why, I would rather do something like this type of show.
Well, buddy, we love having you there. It's going to be a great time. Folks, like I say, if you haven't gotten your tickets, beingsocialauto.com. September 22nd, the road to the sale will bring you to Madison, Wisconsin. Beautiful place, beautiful backdrop. And John, the dinner afterwards is
phenomenal.
Always a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I think
cheese curds. If you don't know, now you know.
Perspective.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate
Johnny
you.
Rez, thanks a lot for joining the show, bud. Really appreciate it. You're the best. We'll see you next time. Folks, enjoy this show. Next week on the show, we're going to have the man, the myth, the legend, Chad Graves going to be on the show talking about all things AI SEO and give you a preview of what he'll be talking about in Madison. John, thanks a lot. Have a great week. Everybody, thank you for joining. See you next time.
All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.